On the night of August 29, 2013, a young college student named Bryce Laspisa was driving through California when something happened that would turn an ordinary night into one of the state's most haunting missing person mysteries. Bryce was 19 years old and attending Sierra College in Rocklin, California. Friends and family described him as intelligent, outgoing, and generally close to the people around him. He had recently been living with friends near Sacramento, while his parents lived in the small community of Laguna Niguel in Southern California. That Thursday evening, Bryce was supposed to be making his way toward his parents' home. But he never arrived. Earlier that night, Bryce had been spending time with a friend. At some point, his behavior reportedly became unusual. He gave away some of his belongings and made decisions that seemed strange to those around him. His friends became concerned and contacted his family. Then Bryce began driving. He was heading south in his Toyota Highlander when he called his mother, Karen. During the conversation, Bryce told her he was having trouble with his vehicle and was not sure what to do. His mother tried to understand what was happening and encouraged him to come home. What happened next remains one of the most confusing parts of the entire case. Instead of continuing toward his parents' home, Bryce apparently stopped near a gas station in the town of Colfax. He remained there for some time. His mother expected him to continue south. But Bryce did not. He later called his mother again. The conversation was strange. Bryce reportedly told her that he was fine, but his mother could tell something was wrong. She wanted him to come home immediately. At one point, Bryce told her that he was only about 30 minutes away. But he wasn't. He was still much farther north. His mother kept waiting. Hours passed. Bryce continued driving, but his movements became increasingly difficult to understand. Eventually, his parents realized that something was seriously wrong. They tried calling him repeatedly. Bryce answered some of the calls. During one conversation, he reportedly told his mother that he was tired and needed to stop. His mother asked him to come home. Bryce said he would. But instead of driving directly toward Laguna Niguel, he turned toward a remote area near Castaic Lake. That decision would become one of the final known movements of his life. Around the early hours of August 30th, Bryce's vehicle was involved in a crash. His Toyota Highlander left the roadway and went down a steep embankment near Castaic Lake. The vehicle was badly damaged. But Bryce was not inside. Investigators later found his wallet, cell phone, and other personal belongings associated with the vehicle. There was no clear sign of where he had gone. The discovery immediately transformed the situation from a worried family waiting for a son to a major missing person investigation. Search teams began looking through the surrounding area. The terrain was difficult. Castaic Lake is surrounded by hills, vegetation, roads, and large stretches of rugged land. Searching such an area can be extremely challenging, especially at night. Authorities searched around the crash site and surrounding areas. But Bryce was nowhere to be found. There were no confirmed sightings of him after the crash. No verified phone call. No confirmed bank transaction. No message that clearly explained where he had gone. And no evidence that definitively revealed what happened next. The mystery became even more disturbing because of Bryce's behavior before his disappearance. Why had he given away personal belongings? Why had he spent so many hours driving without reaching his destination? Why had he repeatedly told his family he was coming home while continuing to move in the opposite direction? And most importantly, why did he leave his vehicle after the crash? Over the years, investigators and online communities have considered countless possibilities. Some believe Bryce may have become confused or emotionally overwhelmed and simply walked away from the vehicle. Others believe he may have traveled farther from the crash site and somehow survived. Some have suggested that he may have encountered another person. There have also been theories involving accidents, foul play, and other possibilities. But none of these theories has been proven. One of the most important facts about the case is that there is no confirmed evidence explaining what happened to Bryce after he left the vehicle. That uncertainty has kept the mystery alive for years. His family continued searching and hoping for answers. Missing person cases can sometimes remain unsolved for decades, and Bryce's case became one of those mysteries that refused to disappear. People have searched the area. Investigators have examined possible leads. Online communities have studied timelines, phone calls, driving routes, and the circumstances surrounding the crash. Yet the central question remains unanswered. Where did Bryce Laspisa go? The last confirmed chapter of his story ends beside that damaged Toyota Highlander near Castaic Lake. Somewhere beyond that point, the trail disappears. There is no confirmed explanation. No final message. No verified sighting that tells us where he went. And no definitive answer about whether he walked away voluntarily, became lost, suffered an accident, or encountered something more sinister. More than a decade later, the mystery continues to haunt those who remember the case. Bryce was only 19 years old when he disappeared. He had a family waiting for him. He had friends expecting to see him again. And he had a life that was supposed to continue far beyond that August night. Instead, one strange series of decisions ended with an abandoned vehicle and an unanswered question. Perhaps one day, someone will discover a piece of evidence that finally explains what happened. Perhaps a forgotten detail will lead investigators to the truth. Until then, the disappearance of Bryce Laspisa remains one of America's most puzzling missing person mysteries. A young man drove into the night. His vehicle was found. But Bryce himself was gone. And after all these years, no one knows for certain where he went.